Hey buddy, Jason here with the Landlord Launch. Today we are going to be talking about what to do when you get a request to have a tenant removed from the lease. Whether it's a roommate, whether it's a boyfriend-girlfriend splitting, whatever the case. But the process of getting one person off the lease, perhaps getting another one on, but at the very least getting somebody off the lease. So there is a process that you should follow, and it really kind of resembles the actual initial screening process. So what you're going to want to do is, first and foremost, before you agree to let anybody out of the lease agreement, is you're going to want to make sure that the people that are remaining meet your screening criteria. Because think about it, if you have a home and both of the adult incomes, let's just say boyfriend, girlfriend, both of their incomes contributed to making sure that they met your minimum income requirements, and now that one of those people are leaving, if you let them off the lease, perhaps the person that's left cannot afford it on their own. And if they can't afford it on their own and you have to evict them or you have to go into collections and you've let this other person out of the lease, now you have reduced your ability to potentially collect on that debt. So before you release anybody from that, you're going to want to make sure to basically re-screen them, at least in a partial kind of way, in order to make sure they qualify. So again, first and foremost, get a new application packet on the people that are going to remain in the home. You're going to want to also have them re-sign your screening criteria so that they understand the criteria that they're going to be based on. Because, you know, let's just say that they're a tenant for a year or 2 years and they split, and that person then tries to make the argument, well, I've been here for 2 years, I paid rent every time, but yeah, now you've lost half your income. So I need to look at you as an individual and make sure that you can re-qualify. Here is my screening criteria. These are the expectations, and if you do not meet these, I'm not going to let this person off the lease, or you're not going to renew the lease, whatever that may be. Because this can be one of those deals too, that if lease renewal comes up and you find out that somebody has left the home making that decision to renew the lease, you may want to do the same exact thing because that person's gone and you now have a whole different situation that you want to make sure that they qualify for. So get that new application packet from all adults that are going to be in the household. This is going to help you update their current information. This is going to get you a new release to run their background, make sure nothing's happened on their credit and criminal since they originally applied. And then I would also collect new pay stubs for the person that's left there, and that's just a quick and easy way because you're going to want to re-verify their income. Even if their job hasn't changed, they should have access to their pay stubs. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. And again, like I said, make sure that screening criteria is signed. That should be part of your rental packet anyway, apart in my opinion. So I mean, I would just give them a new rental packet and kind of treat them like they're a new applicant. So utilize your screening checklist, go through all the steps, make sure that like on your checklist, if you're looking at occupancy, make sure the occupants are there, make sure the employment's good, make sure the income calculations are good, that they meet your criteria. Obviously if they've been in your home for the last year or 2 years as a renter, you don't have to verify the old rental addresses again, but just work down your screening checklist just like you were screening the applicant for the very first time. And then if they meet all of your criteria, well then great. Let the other person off the lease, do it in writing. And I would recommend doing a new lease agreement for the new household, not just a addendum that gets them off, because again, this allows you to kind of start that lease fresh with the new tenant, and if you ever have to do anything legally, there won't be the confusion of, oh, this guy, we let him loose, here's this extra addendum. It's a brand new fresh lease agreement, and this way any changes in your lease agreement will be reflected as well. And then I would say that when you do the lease agreement, because oftentimes these things don't happen cleanly at the beginning or at the end of a lease agreement, I would evaluate when you want your lease to end. So let's say that they are 3 months out of their lease expiring when this happens. And it happens in June, you set up a new lease agreement, and if you just do a standard 12-month lease, maybe that lease agreement no longer ends when you want it to. Let's just say that it happens to end in November, December, or January, a time of the year where leasing is not good. What I would do is I would structure that lease agreement to end in the month or the period, like, whether it's spring or summer, early fall, whatever it is for you in your area, that when leasing season is hot. That way, if they decide to leave, then it'll be easier for you to re-rent the home. So whether that means, doing a 7-month lease or doing a 14-month lease to move that expiration date into the time period that you want it to expire, I would go on and take a look at that and make sure you do that as well, because just because they have had a change in their situation doesn't mean that you should be kind of set to a disadvantage trying to accommodate them for that. So okay, that's it. That's how I approach removing a tenant from a lease. Get that new screening application or a new rental application packet for everybody that's left. Make sure to screen them, do a brand new lease agreement, and make sure it ends when I want to. And then when whoever you release from the lease agreement, whether it's a roommate, boyfriend, husband, whatever the case, make sure that's done in writing so everything is very clear under the paper trail. So I hope that has been helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know. And that's it. We'll wrap it up. Thank you again for watching, and we will see you next time.